There's a new segment being added to the channel here in 2021, so stick around after the jump to find out more. Welcome to Straight Six Van. I'm Grant Tommy, helping you build your hot rod and your confidence without a ton of money. And well, like I said, it's time for a new segment here in 2021 on the channel. And well, what I'm calling it is What We Weldin Weekly. So back in the fall, I signed up for Steve Darnell's Welder 101 class. And unbeknownst to me when I signed up for it, well, it was meant primarily for like almost 100% directed towards MIG welding. And well, the Everlast machine I have, Power Ultra 206 PI, which I've done several videos on, which, you know, if you really want, I'll leave one up over here. You can go check out kind of my take, my feel on it. Well, it's a 3-in-1 multi-process inverter machine, which is a plasma cutter, an arc welder, and a TIG welder. So I bought this course to help me to like hone my welding skills, and well, I don't own a MIG welder. However, as I've gone through a lot of the lessons, there are so many things that do carry over from the MIG welding process to this I want to try out. And well, What We Weldin Weekly is really primarily just meant to force myself to get more hood time here in 2021. Now, I don't think I'm going to wind up doing 52 episodes. I'm shooting for, well, right around 50, and that's for two reasons. One, well, I've got some projects lined up for 2021, some welding projects, and I feel like that's going to wind up being more primary content. So on those weeks, no need to kind of double up on content. You'll just get my primary, the main upload on those weeks. And well, the other reason is, you know, it's just not knowing what's really ahead of me for the whole year. I'm sure there's going to be some conflicts the way it works out, and I don't even know what day I'm going to probably consistently try to upload the series on. It might be Fridays, it might be Sundays, I don't know. But as the year goes on, it will be a consistent day. So as luck would have it, in editing, I found that when I thought I hit record on the camera, I actually did not. So I guess what the clip was supposed to say is I was explaining finally what we're actually working on this week, and how it's really a project that's it's like a project to help me produce more material for the next practice sessions, if you will. So it's sort of like a I don't know, it's sort of a project for future projects. I've set up my mini grinder on this little well, it's like a chop saw jig, and last night came out here and squared it up to make sure it's nice and square. So out of the gate, I'm going to be just processing some of this material that I have. I've had it for quite some time. It was actually donated to me by a neighbor. And well, I'm just going to do the kind of like T-joints, lap joints, butt joints, just kind of some like 3-inch, maybe 4-inch long strips. So I'm going to be processing a lot of material, not in this episode, but the next upcoming episode. Before I can process that material, well, I'm going to make a little kind of like a stop guide or jig for this thing, so I can just feed material through at that preset location. So let me grab the camera and show you what I'm trying to explain. In order that I can just feed these pieces of flat stock through and let it stop at a certain point, well, I need to create that stop. So I've got this extra angle here, and what I want to do is create like a sort of like a rail system that my chop saw can kind of sit in here. Oh, and now I'm already finding a conflict, so this might be foiling my plan. Okay, well, what I was hoping to do was create like a rail system that I could just slide my chop saw in, and then there would be a stop perpendicular to this, so that way no matter how long the material is, I can just kind of run this back and forth. But well, now I'm seeing that there's a conflict with this spring mechanism that's going to prevent it from resting up right next to the back the back of the base. So I guess that just means I need to come up with option B now. Alright, plan B. So here's what it looks like. I think I'm gonna take some flat stock, and dimensionally it slides right underneath this slot, underneath my base fairly well. There's a little bit of clearance so it can freely move. So I will run 2 of these parallel, and then we will just we'll weld on the angle on the end to be the stop. We'll make sure it's nice and square, and I think that's the route I'm going to go. And so we'll see how that turns out. When you talk about safety gear for your shop, one of the things I highly recommend picking up would be a welding blanket. It's just something that's I can throw sparks into, and I know it's not going to combust. You can see just how much material is embedded in there already. So definitely money well spent. Haven't caused the fire yet, and I don't have a ginormous shop by any stretch of the imagination, but this definitely helps, especially when you've got like used motor oil sitting around, things like that. So hopefully you can see what I'm after now. I'm going to create 2 parallel rails here, and we're going to square it up real well on the end with a piece of this angle. And I might even put one on the opposite end, so that way I can kind of I think what I'll do is I'll buzz down one leg smaller, so it can help be a rest, an additional rest on the other side, but it'll be a stop on the opposite end. But these pieces are really nasty. I need to get those cleaned up with a flap disc, but first I kind of need to take some measurements, figure out how big of pieces I need to now cut off my angle iron. Well, we measured 6.5, and as you probably saw in that previous clip, I was supposed to leave all of the chalk line exposed. I went kind of right down the middle, so we're about a 1/16 of an inch off where we need to be. So this will be, I'm going to turn this guy into the low side. So like I said, we will end up leveling off. With my stand, we will cut this off to be flush with, well, I guess probably the ridges there, so that way it can help support material, as I feed it. And so we'll bust out the scribe for to mark out 6.5 inches here, and try to get a more true 6.5 inches for the actual stop. hopefully this helps you visualize what I'm after. So we'll do one on each end like this, and it'll be a material stop on this end. This end it'll be like a material prop. So I'll be buzzing down the top. I don't know if I'll do that with my plasma cutter or what, you know, or maybe I just clamp it to, I don't know. We'll figure something out. But that's for later. Right now we gotta start cleaning the mill scale and the rust off of. Now, most definitely the flat stock. You know, with an arc welder, you can kind of go through that. So it's not as critical, but you know, part of what this exercise is to start training myself for best practices. So we'll get the flap disc out and we'll clean this up and start prepping ourselves for you know, this is how we're going to become a better fabricator. Real quick before I get too far into the video, I know based on the reaction I got when I posted a picture of this on Instagram, I'm guessing a lot of you will be asking questions about how do I get one of these mini grinder chop saw rigs. And well, I got mine from Northern Tool. It is an Ironton brand. If I can do an Amazon associate or affiliate link, I will do that. I will say the only downside to it is one, the guard leaves a little to be desired. Now I can't actually run this anyway because I have a 5-inch wheel on a 4.5-inch setup, and so honestly I need to probably make a guard at some point. And then secondly, like, it's got this adjustable like all thread here to help you kind of pitch your mini grinder. The only problem with it is there's not a way to positively like keep it secure, so hence the zip ties. But anyway, we're to the point where I want to square up everything, get it nice and square, and then we'll start tack welding. We're using 70-14 rod. That's you know, I'm a novice, so that's what I started learning with. That's when I bought my first welder. That's the rod it came with, and I've just never really second guessed buying anything else moving forward. But I do love my machine, the Everlast inverter. It's a great machine for me. I love having three abilities: the TIG welder, the plasma cutter. You know, you guys probably saw in a previous episode where I TIG welded my exhaust on Project Low Fairmont. So very handy tool. Someday I will buy a MIG welder. It's just I don't have the room right now. You know, I suppose I could fit a machine down there and a second tank back here, but honestly, like, everything's got such a tight fit in my garage here, and everything's got its spot. I've got enough of my leads and things like that, and I protect those up against the wall. I'm really just worried about rubbing something up against the car or something like that. So we'll wait till I get my new shop and I will buy a MIG welder. You guys trust me, I will own a MIG welder someday, just not right now. Our goal here is just to get some good tack started. So we'll just we'll tack it here on the far outside end, and we'll reposition things, square it up, tack the far outside end over here, and you know, that way if I'm a little out of square, I can kind of bend right on the tack weld. Alright, well we're going to be playing with the temperature setting there. That was all sorts of not good. But again, I guess that's the point of the series. Is check in with me at the end of the year and see how I've progressed. But anyway, that will do for attack. We'll switch it around. Oh, look at that. So yeah. Turn the amperage up a little. You know, like trying to get heat into this direction of the flange, it could take quite a bit. So I'm going to bump it up to 80, and then I feel like instead of trying to get this inside corner, I'm going to weld it out back here. I think I can get a better angle on it with my rod, and so let me give that a shot. There we go. So I didn't come out to the shop with a fully charged battery, so I had to throw the battery on the charger there for a second, but we got everything tacked up in all four corners. We did the tape measure diagonal to diagonal. It's pretty square. It might be off with a 1/16 of an inch, but 80 amps feels just about right. There's just I've got a little bit of undercut just ever so slightly on the edge here. But I'm really liking the temperature. It's at 80. I might back it off just a little bit, maybe in the 70s, but yeah, not too bad for as little as I cleaned everything. So we'll go ahead and burn in all the other three sides. see how fast I had to move there? That was at 77. That's where I think it's still a little too hot. No, I'm not really getting undercut. So, I might still go down to 75 on the other. Sides. Now that felt good. Well, it feels like it might be a little taller, but at least from a machine standpoint, the rhythm, that felt good. Yeah, but worst weld of the night. Interesting. So we got a lot of porosity. A lot of porosity there, so maybe the setting wasn't so bad before, but you know, I also obviously didn't clean super well. So disappointed in that, but we'll hold up the fourth and final one, and we'll call it a night. Okay, now that felt good. Moment of truth, I suppose. Yeah, that's a good one to end it on. Not the best welds ever. I'm not going to sit here and tell you these are the best, but yeah, I'm not ashamed of this. Final one of the night. So I need to figure out how to end better. Kind of what I need to do with my rod to kind of end better, but this first 1/3 looks really good. Got a little sloppy there as I finished up, but anyway, let's get this all kind of set up together so you can see what's in my head. Okay, so here we are. Like I said, one side I will wind up cutting down, but as you can see, it will slide. Now I can take my chop saw and just slide it and set up, know I want to cut a 6-inch piece, I can just measure from my blade over to my stop and just feed material in, clamp it down, and we're good. So let's see if I can just throw a piece in real fast to show you. So like this guy, you can just put it in here, send it all the way to the end, clamp it down, and now I can just sit here and run a bunch of material through for my practice pieces. So anyway, just a simple little jig. I like the way it turned out. I'm pretty happy with it. Again, this is episode 1 of what we weld in weekly, and hopefully we'll see a huge improvement from this first project to the end of the year. But if that's what you were wondering, this is what we welded this week. I'll probably clean it up throughout the week before we do a next week's episode. But yeah, if you want to check out some of my other fabrication videos over here, I will leave some videos over here, or maybe a video about my machine, my Everlast welder. Otherwise, that's going to do it for this episode. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I don't care which one you do, as long as you do one, it really helps out the channel. that's going to do it for this episode. Until next time, peace out.